Girls and boys, today we're going to talk about mixed numbers and improper fraction. A mixed number is a number that is made of a whole number and a fraction. For example, 4 wholes and 2/3. An improper fraction is a fraction with a numerator that is larger than the denominator. For example, 14/3. So 14/3 is 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 3/3, which is 12/3, and 2 more, which is 14/3. 4 and 2/3 is equivalent to 14/3. It's the same thing. But now how do I go back and forth between mixed numbers and improper fractions? I'm going to teach you that. To turn an improper fraction into a mixed number, we're going to take our numerator and divide it by our denominator. So 14 divided by 3. So I want to know how many 3's can go into 14, and I'll get 4. So if I multiply 4 times 3, I'm left with 12, and then I have a remainder of 2. So I'm able to pull 4 wholes, because 1 whole is 3/3, out of 14/3, and then I'm left with 2/3 left over. So numerator divided by denominator, and my remainder becomes my numerator, and my denominator stays the same. So let's do some practice of those. I want to take 11 halves and turn it into a mixed number. So what I've told you is I'm trying to figure out how many halves are how many wholes and halves are in 11 halves. So I'm going to take my 11 and divide it by 2. And I'm going to say 11 can be divided by 2 5 times, which leaves me 11 minus 10, which leaves me 1. So I can take 5 wholes, and I'm left with 1 half left. Or I can draw a picture of that, and I can see that this is 2 halves. Another 2 is 4 halves. Another 2 is 6 halves. Another 2 is 8 halves. Another 2 is 10 halves. And 1 more half gives me 11 halves. So I can draw it out until I end up with my whole number and my fraction, or I can divide my numerator by my denominator and make my remainder the fraction. Let's do another one. If I have 22 fifths. Okay, so I'm saying to myself, I know I have 22 fifths. 5 fifths is a whole. So how many wholes can I take out of 22 fifths? Let's see, 22 divided by 5. 5 goes into 22 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. That leaves me with 2 left over. So I should have 4 wholes and 2 fifths left. Let's see. I know that 1 whole is 5 fifths. So I should be able to make 4 wholes according to this. Let's see. If each one of these is 5 fifths, that would be 10 fifths, 15 fifths, 20 fifths, and then 2 more fifths would give me 22 fifths. So let's see. Now I have 4 wholes and 2 fifths. It's the same thing. Let's do 17 fourths. Okay, 17 fourths. Okay, so I know that 4 fourths is a whole. So how many times can I pull 4 fourths out of 17 fourths? So I'm going to do 17 divided by 4. That's going to go 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. That'll leave me with 1 left. So I should be able to pull 4 wholes and be left with 1/4 left. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1/4. Let's count them. 4 fourths, 8 fourths, 12 fourths, 16 fourths, and 1 more fourth gives me 17 fourths. And if I look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1/4. It's the same thing as 17 fourths. I want you to try 2 on your own. I want you to hit pause after I write them. Do 21 eighths and do 16 sevenths. Press pause and solve. Okay, now that you're back, do 21 divided by 8. 8 goes into 21 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. That leaves me 5. So my answer should be 2 and 5/8. Let's see. So if I have 2 wholes divided into 8 pieces, that gives me 8/8. That gives me 16/8. And then if I add 5 more eighths, I should have 5, let's see, 16 plus 5 gives me 21/8 altogether. All right, now last one will be 16 sevenths. How many times? Let's see, 16 divided by 7. How many times does 7 go into 16? It goes twice. So I should be able to get 2 wholes out of 16 sevenths. And then I'll take away my 14 sevenths, which would give me 2 left over. So I should have 2 and 2 sevenths. So I should have 2 wholes and 2 sevenths. So this would be 7 sevenths plus 7 sevenths plus 2 sevenths should give me 16 sevenths, and that is 2 wholes and 2 sevenths. All right, now let's look at converting mixed numbers into improper fractions. So this, I think, is a little bit easier. So let's say I have 3 wholes and 1/4. So I just want you to think about that. If I have 3 wholes and 1/4, right? Okay, how many fourths are in each one of these holes? Well, there will be 4 fourths and 1/4. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my denominator times my whole number, because that's how many fourths I have. So I get 3 times 4, which is 12. And then I am adding my numerator, which gives me 13. So this equals 13 fourths altogether. I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 fourths. There are 13 fourths and 3 1/4. All right, let's do another one. Let's do 4 and 2/5. Okay, let's use the same method. Take your denominator times 4, so 5 times 4, and then add 2. So let's see, I should get 22/5. Let's see how that works out. So I have 4 wholes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have 2/5 left over. So 4 wholes, this would be 5/5, 5/5, 5/5, 5/5, and 2/5. So I do this times 4 plus my 2/5, which gives me 22/5. Drew my picture wrong. Let's draw fifths. Okay, 22/5. All right, last one would be, that I'm gonna model for you, 6 and 3/7. Okay, I'm gonna take my numerator times my denominator times my whole number, 7 times 6, which gives me 42, plus my numerator, which gives me 45, 45/7. So if I have 6 wholes and 5/7. Each one of these is divided into sevenths. This would be a total of 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, plus 3/7, which would give me 45/7. You try some. Do 2 and 4/9 and 3 and 2/3. Solve those, press pause, and then come back to check your work. Okay, now that you're back, you do 9 times 2, which gives you 18. Add your numerator plus 4, which would be 22/9. We're going to do 3 times 3, which would give me 9, plus 2, which would give me 11/3. You can draw it out. 2 wholes, 4/9. So that would be 9/9, 9/9, and 4/9, which would give you a total of 22/9. Here you have 1, 2, 3, and 2/3. So you have 1, 2, 3, 3/3, 3/3, 3/3, and 2/3. If you multiply that out, you get 9/3 plus 2 is 11/3. All right, keep practicing, and I'm sure this will become much easier for you the more you do it.